So let's go. Hey, yeah, I'm back. I had to get my breakfast, guys. Give me one more minute. Ah! So I'm oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm here because there were some thoughts that I had. As I said, they're slightly random thoughts about slightly random things. And one of those thoughts was soda bakes tuna. Perfect combination. One of those thoughts was, um, it started off being, do we really listen to men? And this is all preamble to an article that I'm going to write. So when I write articles, it's a lot deeper in terms of thought process and stuff like that. Because okay, for example, yesterday I came on here, we danced, we laughed. It was a planned episode and everything, but it was about music. It wasn't about anything too deep, right? So in a sense like that, I can afford to operate off of the giggles and the laughter. But when it comes to a topic as sensitive as men being heard, I think it triggers a lot of people. It triggers men. Jeez. It triggers men because men probably are so accustomed to not being heard that when a woman asks a question such as, do you think you're being heard? It's then like, you wonder if there's an ulterior motive. Like, as a man, you start to wonder, well, is there an ulterior motive to this? Does she really want to hear what I have to say? Because as much as we women don't like to admit it, weaponization goes both ways. So if we could say that men weaponize incompetence and men don't want to hear us out as we talk about the struggles of being a mother and PCOS and being a single parent and all that, valid concerns, by the way, that have been shared over the years many times. And again, valid concerns. I don't want to get rid of the validity of the concerns. But the counterbalance doesn't really get to be reflected in the same way, which is men's issues. Now, who even knew that men go through something similar to menopause? They do. Let me check my phone. And yes, this is a chat. This is an exploration. And I like that I have a space where I could just sit and chat with a screen and, just run my mouth because I have my thoughts, right? So it's nice to have the room over here to chill and to really talk about things. So let me see. I could put men's menopause into my trusty phone. What do I get? Men's menopause. I think it's called andropause. I was right. Andropause. Men go through andropause. And we don't really talk about it. In fact, we laugh at it as a society. And I'm being perfectly fair. Yes, we have jokes about hot flashes and stuff like that women go through as well. But for a man, to go through andropause, let's look at the symptoms of andropause really quickly. Low energy and tiredness, sadness or bad moods, less sex drive, trouble getting an erection, and less muscle strength. And then testosterone, it drops 1% each year after age 30 or 40. Stress, poor sleep, and weight gains can make the symptoms worse. So, yeah, men also go through stuff. Yeah. And I'm saying this because we tend to really be at men's throats. Like when it comes to women being emotional, we tend to say, oh, women are emotional because they're hormonal. And I guess because we don't want to look at men as hormonal creatures, we kind of neglect the fact mhm, that men also have hormones and men also have challenges. Maybe it could be that. It could really be that. No, this bike will up with oat fail in this gap every time. Never bought an ice cream yet. They haven't tracked me with the ice cream yet. But this bike man knows his customers because without fail, present you the ice cream truck. But yeah, as I was saying, we don't, as women, can we be real? I'm going to be very real. This is why I had to get cozy. You're chilling with me. We are talking, right? And I'm having breakfast. We are literally at my breakfast table, dining table, to talk, right? Do we as women really see men as full creatures? Pause. Hold on right there for me. Yeah, like for true. Hold on. Do we really see men as full creatures? This is not the place for you to talk about your issues with your child father, the unresolved issues with your dad, or whatever. Because I'm not even here to say that I've had men be perfect in my life. It's been a mixed bag for me too. But I'm just saying, in general, do we look at men as full creatures? That's a question. I think that what has happened is we have kind of flattened men. We have. We also tend to sexualize men. We do. Especially in this day and age of what was that song by Chancia? Um Not that one. Just weighing my options. Oh gosh. What's the song? You all know the song I mean, man, by Shansia. Ah, where she's really like in the song, she's kind of saying that, oh, Miguel hit and run. Miguel hit and run. Yeah, like women, let's hold ourselves accountable. We sexualize men too. All right. We've gone past the point where men sexualize us alone, and we also sexualize men. Sweetie had a song where she talked about 8 inches being good. Like, come on now. In our girl talk and our girl time, the way we talk about men, sometimes we really don't see the humanity in men. And that's why, like, I'm having this conversation because sometimes, yeah, guys, sometimes you could be trash. But ladies, we can also be trash. People in general can be trash. So I wonder if some of the vitriol that men get for being trash is all deserved. Am I saying that men don't deserve backlash for mistreating women? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not defending anyone's ill actions towards anyone. I'm just saying that it is very possible that we do not take men's mental health as seriously as we should for two reasons. Mm. I know y'all must be sick and tired of me at this job. I'm chewing too. Oh my god. But sometimes the only way for me to talk is to talk. Plain, simple, be myself, and leave it all on the floor. Kind of like Funky Dineva, I guess. Uh-huh. I'm very inspired by Funky Dineva. I just like the fact that he's himself. He's upgraded his studio and stuff over the years, but he started off being his authentic self, and we're born on a we are both born in August around the same time, so probably it's a personality thing. But ooh, but yeah, I I find it easier sometimes to talk about these things. Just be myself, right? Or I was saying, I think that sometimes we don't value men's mental health for two reasons. One, we don't fully understand it, not in the new landscape and not in the and not in the new context. I'll go even further to say that I don't think we fully as a society understand what men are supposed to do since women have evolved and grown so much. And that's a real problem, by the way, because if you really listen to the argument on either side, both parties want to feel accepted, want to feel solved and needed and loved. It's a love issue. Everybody just wants to feel loved and nobody wants to feel hurt. So then we all start to become, I guess I could do my edges if I wanted to do edges. Forgive me. So then we all become mean to each other unnecessarily. Because if I'm a woman in my femininity, genuine femininity, if I yearn for you, if I care for you, if I am willing to make myself look dumb to care about you, then that means that I'm somehow lesser than you. That's what we've taught ourselves. That yearning, loving, and caring is bad. And to be fair, we've had to teach ourselves that because people take advantage of you when you're too nice or too sweet or too kind, right? Cool. Facts. Those are the family facts. Right? I'm not even going to pretend. Those are the facts. So that's why you tend to try to guard your heart and stuff like that. But then that's a bigger problem because you're not going to be sexual with every man, are you? I mean, so let's take that out of it. Let's take that kind of love Lauren rejection out of it. If you're not going to be sexual with every man, and let's say that you do get sexual, but you'd never really become romantic, right? Because we live in a world where sex can be a casual thing, and we live in a world where friends with benefits exist, situationships exist, and all of the ranges in the middle. And we probably always did. It's just that it's more accepted now. But let's remove all of that and just go down to the dynamics of family and friendship. I think that part of the problem is that men and women do not know how to be friends, right? We don't know how to be friends. We want something from each other all the time, especially, and I have to talk about the Black community. right? No, I have to be fair and say, um, the dynamics of man and female relationships in the Caribbean versus the US may be different. And I have to say, I think some of my Caribbean sisters get called birds unnecessarily. Okay. Sometimes it's warranted, and sometimes it really is not. And I'll say that I think becoming over masculinized as a woman is also a problem, right? Any extreme is bad. Yeah, any extreme is bad. So if you are out here, basically saying that, oh, I'm in the clear because I'm on the flip side of an extreme, just remember what I said. Any extreme is bad. So, what does that mean? If I happen to be helpless in the sense that I am overly vulnerable, that's bad. But if I'm hyper independent, that's also bad. And we are raising a generation of overly independent women. And yeah, I said it. We are, and it's not a healthy thing. It's not even a healthy thing amongst women because humans are designed to be interdependent. Humans are designed to be interdependent. Humans are designed to be interdependent, meaning men and women both are made, are designed to be interdependent, right? That's human nature. Before we get programmed to all the different predispositions of gender and stuff like that, if you see a little boy in your class and you're a little girl, you're gonna play with a little boy. Like, before we put all of these social constructs on each other, a little boy may take up a doll to play with. A little girl may take up Legos. At the core, we all want love. We all want to be accepted and appreciated. And I think what ends up happening is that life has become so transactional and capitalistic that no one wants to feel like they've lost. No one wants to feel like they've lost. So it's this huge competition between men and women. So if a man says, "You're not really hearing me," to a woman, we have so much mental noise that we really are not able to hear what he's saying. We really do. We do. Because we are going to be pulling up the highlight reel of all the terrible things that men do and whatever, whatever. And sometimes men do lack the ability to succinctly put their thoughts over because they do get so caught up in the emotion that they're not really able to say what they need to say, right? But I I've had enough time listening to both sides of the argument to realize that it really is just that nobody wants to lose. Um, as a woman with no children at the moment, as a woman who is single, um, But as a woman who always wanted to be married with kids, as a woman who had opportunity for that and struggled to meet her goals of marriage and children, and had to watch family members do that effortlessly and all kinds of stuff. As a woman turning 28 on the 27th, I have perspective. Okay. Um, I am in a unique position because I don't have a steady romantic partner and I don't have children, but I do have male friends and I do have men in my life who take care of me. And this is not a brag, this is not a boast, this is just being honest. There are men in my life who take care of me. My two main people in my support network right now are men, Bayesian men. Mm. Um, and I'm a person who has tried to be in the sisterhood, who has tried to seek women as this refuge and as this. And the truth is, as I said, we have raised such hyper independent women that we don't even know how to support each other. And that's a problem. Women were already competitive before. So now that we have to be so much more masculinized, we don't know how to support each other, and that's a problem amongst women, right? Men have their issues. I'm not going to say that men don't do things that are wrong. They do. They rape, they murder, they pillage, yada, on and on. But are they not also human? So is there not also a range of emotions that men can have? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If we as women could make room for understanding the behaviors of a Cardi B and an Ariana Grande, who I probably will do a podcast video on because I have a very interesting perspective on Ariana Grande, and it's going to be an empathetic one. It's not going to be one to bash her and or pick her apart further because I could deeply understand what she may be going through. Um, but yeah, we can empathize and understand that, but for some reason we can't. And I know you might be saying, but I'm burnt out. I'm burnt out at trying to empathize with men that hurt me or whatever. I understand. I understand. I've had bad experiences with men too. There was a time in my life where men hurt me. Um, so I'm telling you, I've seen all ends of the spectrum. So I'm not speaking as a person that has never experienced um, the bad side of a man or the terrible impact of a man who doesn't quite have himself together yet. I have. But I'm saying I've also experienced that from women. I've experienced the abandonment that comes from women that you put so much hope and trust into to understand you better because they're also women. And so I'm just saying that to say that the idea and the argument that all of us girls just need to stick together and if everything was a matriarchy, it would be okay is not true. Because then I think it would just be patriarchy but reversed. So, with all that being said, it is very possible for men not to be fully heard, right? Is it easy for us to accept? No, it's not. We don't want to accept the fact that a man might not feel fully heard, because that kind of betrays everything that we're taught to believe about men. That betrays the whole sisterhood. That means that when we're kikiing, like, that absolves us of some of the responsibility and accountability that we need to take. There's some women who are just as bad as the men that we call incels. An extreme on either side is bad. And there's a whole bunch of people in the middle who've just been hurt in romantic relationships and and who bring their bitterness over into all of these conversations. Because they stem from relational issues, like romantic relationships. So I'm gonna just say this. We all need to stop. Okay? Stop it. A heart breaks every day. Oh. Divorce is as natural as marriage. You could become a widower. Boo-boo. People can hurt you. That's life. But that doesn't mean that you have to hate all men. And that doesn't mean you have to hate all women either. Yeah. I'm sorry. It doesn't mean you have to hate all men. And it doesn't mean you have to hate all women. Get out your feelings. I think, whew, for some reason, guys, I feel like stretching and getting my shades. I feel like for the hot takes, for some reason, I don't know, I'm giving anti-realist, though. Like, I'm giving really anti vibes, like just chilling, 90s energy with this little fit today. It's comfy though. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't know. Ah, I like foolishness. Whoa. Let's get even more hot with the hot takes, okay? Let's get more hot with the hot takes. Y'all don't really have friends. That's fine. I don't really have a lot of friends either, but the friends that I do have, I try to understand, right? And I try to take accountability for where my perspective could have gone wrong, okay? But you guys, in general, we don't have friends anymore because we view people as transactional. When one hurts us, all hurts us. And the collective word us. So that's why it's so difficult to understand that every man is not the man that hurt you, cheat on you, or whatever, and vice versa with the women. And an even tougher pill to swallow. You ready? Is that person that hurt you is a human being that can change, grow, and evolve. So they might have hurt you, but then through the hurt that they caused you, they might have learned from that. And they might go to another relationship with all that knowledge and all that experience and be a lamb. It could have just been time. It could have just been season. It could have just been a lack of knowledge. And I know that sucks to hear because it's like, why couldn't you just love me? Why couldn't you be good for me? Because humans are human. Yeah, girl, it is very possible that the child father that gave you so much hell is gonna wake up someday at 50 and be a lamb to the next woman. And this is why men and women end up dead over romance. A lot of people can't track y'all. A lot of us can't take it. We don't handle rejection well. We don't. I'm included in the we. We all have our toxic ways. I'm a clinger. I'm a clinger. Is that a healthy thing? I'm working through it. But when I like you, shoot, I likes you. It's never gotten to the point where I've interrupted your ability to get a new relationship or anything like that. But I'm gonna check in. I'm gonna message. I'm gonna want to know how you're doing. I'm gonna want a friendship. And I mean a genuine friendship too. I mean, if I like you, I like you. If I really like you, you're in my pantheon of friend or family. No. So yeah. Yeah, boy. If I really like you, I find it really hard to just discard people that I genuinely liked. But you see, when I really wasn't into you, you'll know. You'll know if I'm not trying to reach out to you. I'm a very easy book to read. When I like you, I like you, and I cannot fake when I'm not really into you like that. So yeah, that's my toxic trait on the line. But for some people, their toxic trait is if I can't have you, no one else can. That's literally how people end up dead. We have a very hard time as humans with accepting loss and rejection. We do. Which is where the whole concept and idea of being friends with exes seems to be so crazy. Like, oh, well, could you be friends with an ex? Well, for me personally, I try to see the person as a whole person. So, if I wasn't the right fit or if they weren't the right fit for me, I just try to say, well, maybe someone else romantically might be the best fit for you. For me personally. For real, for me personally. If it is that I like you bad, but romantically it's not going to work out, and you give me a good enough reason, and either you give me a good enough reason or like I at least understand why, I'm not going to force you to be with me romantically. I'm not going to harass you. I'm not going to send you threats. I'm going to love you still. Because that's the thing. When I love hard, I love hard. Like, I'm still going to love you. I'm still going to want you. But I'm not going to stop you from doing your thing, Playboy. Is that a good thing? Yeah, kind of. But it's also bad. There are some people that might argue and say, girl, you're setting up yourself for situationships and for being used. And maybe you have a point. Maybe there's no one way answer to this thing. It really might depend on the people and the personality types. But in general, persons just do not like to be rejected. And that's what's at the core of this whole dynamic right now going on between men and women. Women feel rejected by other women. I tell you that the hot tears can get hot. This apple is so good with you, man. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I told you, the hot taste will get hot. Women feel rejected by other women in the workplace, in this huge competition that we have to be in constantly now. We feel rejected and a bit dejected. So then when we have to come to men, some of us already have that chip on our shoulder. So then we don't want to be rejected. So we put up a big shell. We play hard to get. I've never been able to play hard to get. Men seem to think that I do well. If you really think I'm playing hard to get, I'm literally just not that into you. I think we've established that my challenge is quite the opposite. Whereas, I mean, when I like you, I like you. Well, you know, but sometimes as women, we play hard to get. Men too. We play hard to get. We try to make ourselves scarce. We just want to be respected and loved and appreciated. So we do all these things to hide our vulnerability, right? And then sometimes when we are too vulnerable and we get hurt, we have to become protective of ourselves. So I'm not saying that having self-preservative tendencies are bad. I'm just explaining a thing that I've noticed, right? But as women, especially nowadays, we come with all of that extra baggage from dealing with other women, right? And here's the thing, it's not that men don't deal with it with other men. We seem to think that if you had to listen to certain corners, you would think that all men, they don't work, they just want to moosh off of women, and da 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 da, which is not true. It's not true. We're all broke. I mean, statistically, sorry to break it to you, we're all broke. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're in my age bracket of young adult. We're bread. Remember that classic. You hungry? I bread. What you want? Chef fat, chef fat, chef fat. I mean, I'm making jokes, but I'm not telling lies. We are one of the put it together. We are one of the age demographics that is struggling the most. Most of us will never own a home. We can't even afford children or whatever. So this whole argument between who's better than who, when you put it into that context, becomes even more ridiculous because we are black, right? But as a person who has had to learn a bit more about being in sisterhood, I could understand that, especially for mothers, is mommy's baby and daddy's maybe. So that's a whole new dynamic, right? And that's why a lot of women are not becoming mothers anymore as early as they used to. No, I think that that's the rest of the conversation. They're not becoming mothers as early as they used to. More time and care is being taken into the whole idea of parenting and the whole idea of marriage. And you'll find that divorce rates globally are actually starting to reduce because less people are marrying. So it means that when they do marry, they are marrying for better reasons. Okay. So when they do finally get married, they're marrying for love. They're marrying for life. It's a more stable partnership. And listen, I'm not gonna get here and lie to you guys. I would love someday to be able to be somebody's wife. Yeah, yeah, I would. Do I think I could do it right now? Nah, I have a lot of work to do on myself. I don't think I could even be somebody's girlfriend. Yeah, still a lot to do internally. But you see, I can admit that. And I think sometimes what causes a lot of friction as well is people like me. Another hot take, hot up take right here, sir. People like me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That try to be in serious relationships and for whatever reason, it didn't quite pan out romantically. You know, the people that have certain little things about themselves that is fun casually, but for a commitment might be a bit more. Then we enter the chat. The lovelorn yearners who are not quite there yet. I think that that complicates things too, depending on how we decide to behave. Because what I do not want to become is a home wrecker. Mhm. Mhm. I don't want to become a home wrecker. I don't want to become that person who ends up in between a man and a wife or a deep boyfriend or girlfriend. And I never have. Don't think I ever will. Right? And I don't want that because there's so many dynamics to this thing, right? There are some people who master romantic dynamics so well that they cannot then master friendship. But they could be married for years. They just don't know how to be friends with men or whatever, right? Then there's a flip side. People like me who have had to learn the art of goodbye more so than the art of hello. Not that they couldn't have a forever and always, but they were trying and it couldn't quite work out and they had to work on themselves. And for context, I'm gonna be 28. So maybe as I get older things will change. But for right now, I'm 20. I'm gonna be 28. So like I said, I'm 28, didn't I? I'm going to be 28 on the 27th. Um, so maybe as I get older, I'll be able to be more settled and whatever. But it's the people like me that sometimes cause trouble. And I say that because sometimes we stir the pot. Sometimes that love loneliness, that feeling of, well, damn, I would like to be loved. I would like to be picked. I would like to be chosen. Can cause us to be an enemy to women and a receptacle for men. Ooh, ooh, hot. Like I said, it was a hot take. I should have had my tea so I could sip the tea. Next time, next time. But yeah, hot take for true. It could cause us to be enemies of women and reciprocals for men. Now, I'm not referring to myself at this present stage when I say that, but I'm speaking from lived experience where you're kind of insecure about your ability to be long term. So you're more willing to please. Like if all you could be is a toy inside the kid's meal, you want to be the best toy in the kid's meal box. You understand? Like, if all you could give is an accessory, you want to be like these shades. Cool as hell. Like, and that in itself is a danger. But I suspect that there are many more people like me walking around than there are people that are in committed marriages. And there are people that are in committed marriages who pro for people like me. I want to say people like me, I want to be very clear, right? Public service announcement. I'm not saying that I is a home wrecker, that I ever teeth nobody husband on a face so. Never have. I can lay on myself like that. What I'm saying is I'm a person who would like marriage and all of that, who had opportunity for it, and it didn't quite pan out that way, and has been in more so like friendships, unrequited loves, and kind of like situationships as I try to figure myself out. Okay, that's what I mean by people like me. I want to marry people seem to love people like me. Yeah. Because are in your mind, some of them married men especially, in your mind you think because we are not fully settled, especially older generation, then we must be wild. That is not so, my brother. Mm-mm. Just because I might not got it all together don't mean that I looking to be a home wrecker. I don't mean that I looking to, nah, I'm a Christian, bro. I could sit down and chill myself and talk to y'all on Substack. I could be celibate. Mhm. I could try to work out my shit, as we should. Mm-hmm. 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 So, with that being said, yeah, yeah, that's another problem. So when we put all of these factors in, we realize that no one really speaks about men or women from a non-emotional place online. All right. Probably researchers and scientists who are using data alone. But when we're trying to get down to the nitty-gritty of human behavior, emotions are involved. Emotions are involved. But we don't really, we haven't found a way to involve those emotions without making things unnecessarily messy. Because we don't really want to hear the other side sometimes. We want to keep our darkers on. But sometimes they do have to come off in order to really hear the other person's perspective. So, yeah. Sometimes they do have to come off in order to hear the other person's perspective. And that's for both genders, by the way. You can't go into a discussion about women thinking about the ex-woman that harm you and hurt you hurt. And vice versa. You can't go into a conversation about men thinking about your issues with your dad. We tend to, but can it challenge us to mature to a level whereas we could try compartmentalizing those things and learn some objective reasoning instead of just going straight to the fields? Thank you. Because I wrote an article for Coconut magazine that said I do believe that men and women could be friends even after sex. And I meant every word. I think that there's much to be learned from just having platonic relationships with the opposite gender. Even if there was that initial attraction, even if there was that initial ooh la la, you know, there's still a lot to learn. Because in my mind, if you could have sexed somebody, right? There had to be something about that person that drew you to them. Mm? Yeah, rough stuff. I'll be something about them that make you say, aha. And it means not always. Sometimes hardiness don't really know the bones, right? Sometimes hardiness don't really know the bones. But in general, if you went back for seconds and thirds, I'd be saying about that person that you like. I'd be something about them that was a turn on or intrigue for you. And I think even if it doesn't pan out into a long-term relationship, if there is a person in your life that is willing to be your friend after a romantic relationship and you have the capacity for it, I'm going to challenge those who think that it could never be possible to try. Try with caution, obviously try with boundaries, but to try. Just as you may probably challenge persons like me on the other side of the spectrum to learn how to detach a little bit. Fair enough. As a lover girl, as a piner, yearner, and complicated, person to a certain extent, I could take that. But I think that all of these different viewpoints coming from pain and trauma and the noise that we bring causes us not to hear each other on either end. And ladies, for real though, we do need to, yes, we get PCOS. Yes, we carry children. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. But how are we ever going to really understand what men go through if we don't, listen? If we don't listen, we don't know what andropause feels like. We don't know what having a penis feels like. We don't know what we don't know what being a man truly feels like. And it gets so blasted irritating every time you see an Instagram post asking the men, all of the women in the section, like, if I was a man for true, I wouldn't want to share my perspective no more because when they ain't gonna let me talk. When they ain't gonna let me talk at all. Which is bad, by the way. And I know ladies, we've tended to say, but they don't really know what they're saying. They don't really have anything to say. Hot take, hot take, hot take. Do unto others as you want them to do unto you. If we don't like mansplaining or whatever, then stop women splaining everything that man gotta say. Okay? Now, as in any argument, discussion, there needs to be moderation. So if absolute gibberish is being spoken from either side of the aisle, yeah, get the little can and boot them off the stage. But outside of that, let them talk. If it's just that it hurt your feelings a bit, if it's just that it rifled you up, let them speak. Men commit suicide in a way that is a lot more impactful than women. Meaning that when a man comes to commit suicide, he came with a gun, he came with a knife, like he ready to dead, fam. Women more so come with pills. They make attempt strangulation sometimes, but rarely. Mostly when women commit suicide is through ingestion of something. They could pump the stomach. When a man ready, it could be a gunshot to the head. So what does that say? That says that our men sometimes are in so much emotional pain that they really don't know where to go. And it ends up manifesting in ways like that. And I know some women, we don't really want to hear that. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that. To hear that, will mean that we have to have space for two things to be true at the same time. That some men could be dogs, and that men also need our care. But can I say something? Hot take, hot take, hot take. I ain't like it. All right, let me start with myself. For a man to love me, they have to love the fact that I struggle sometimes mentally. They have to love the fact that sometimes I struggle financially. They have to love the fact that I have some immaturities within me that I have to work on. Not on purpose, not intentionally trying to be annoying or irritating, but just taking accountability. Those are the things. I don't have any children, but yeah. And I try to be an easy to work with person, but at times dating me could feel like dating a overgrown teen. And those are facts. So I put that out there. Cool. And I can live with that. Because it's true and I don't mind it. Right? Lovely. So if you have a child, you know what I'm gonna live with a child father too, right? And with the awkwardness of raising a child that is not his. And I know that sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It's horrible. I'm not bashing single mothers at all. I'm just being real. You understand? A lot of women do not want to date men with kids because they don't want to put up with the child mothers. So it goes both ways. If you're fat, I'm a little fat. And the man really would have liked a girl that's a bit more trim, but he trying to work with you. Like, I know we don't like to hear it that way, but men and women love differently, and men and women see things differently. But does that mean that you should live your whole life to please a man or a woman? Oh no. Romantic love is the most fickle type of love that there is. But yet we want it. We want it. We want romantic love. We want love. We want to feel appreciated and desired and all of that. So, hot take. Maybe we need to give and take. Just saying. Maybe we need to give and take. And I'm not saying this as some kind of hotep, spiritual woman to tell you to get back in the kitchen and serve your man, because I learn a lot from my feminist ladies. I learn a lot from the women that are stronger than me. So I would never say that. Much respect. Too much respect. Right? But I am saying that give and take matters. And I would have said constantly throughout this discussion that too far left doesn't make a right on either end of the spectrum. So maybe when it comes to the men in your life, for the ones that aren't too bad, can we have a bit more grace? Maybe if we extend a bit more grace, we'll get a bit more grace. I'm just saying. You don't have to necessarily hate all men. And men, you don't necessarily need to hate all women. Maybe it's not as complicated as we think it is. If we go back to being in school for the first time, you see a girl that you like, and she ain't like your back. All right, maybe shout her a bit. But you know that by the next day, probably at lunchtime, you find a new crush though. Unless it was like me, and you crush one crush all the way through primary school. But Even so, you find a way to cope. Like you find a way to deal. You journal about it. You express it in a more healthy way. Children have heartbreak and stuff too, but they deal with it sometimes in a much better way than adults. Mm, you have that first secondary school crush or whatever. You you would you would talk about it a bit and then move on. You do move on. You focus on your schoolwork a little bit more or whatever. At least in my case, I don't know. I know that some girls was beating up girls for the man and whatever. I was a case of mistaken identity back at school, boy. Woo! Yeah, like there was a girl that literally thought I was another girl, and I was so blasted, confused. I didn't know what the hell was happening. I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know what was going on. I was lost in the sauce. I really didn't know. So, mhm, mhm. Let's do better, man. Let's listen to the guys. And guys, let's listen to the ladies. And I know you always gotta be listening to the ladies all the time, double time, triple time. Um, you know. But I mean, can we just try sometimes to hear the guys out? Can we try for real? Can we just try to hear them out? I really see where they're trying to come from. Maybe try guiding a little more gently from time to time. I mean, if they're wrong, they're wrong. I mean, if the argument is completely nonsensical, fair enough. And this is on either aisle. Represent your set. But do we have to do that all the time? I don't think so. My name is Joanelle, and this is the Chill Spot. Now, this episode was not planned, it was not scripted. It was me literally eating my breakfast, which I have not finished, and talking with you about relationships between men and women and what's not. Yesterday, y'all got to see me in action in a whole different way, where I was, hyper and everything, but I'm an intellectual too. I have things to say, I have viewpoints. This is helping me with my thought process for writing the article that I want to write. And I must admit, I do really enjoy creating content. What I don't enjoy is trying to figure out how to make money from it. That's why it's sad. Like, I really don't think I could do this as a full-time thing. But I'll do it though, as I go through the journey of trying to become an auntie. I'm gonna come here and chat with you, and I'm gonna create content regularly still. Like maybe when I pass away, you'll be able to pull up some kind of fun video or clip of me for a funeral. Please do, by the way. Anybody that hearing this, not to be morbid, but if I have to pass, you have free will to pull up any scene with me dancing and having a time from that podcast yesterday, because that's all I would like to be remembered. Not as miserable and moody, but as fun. I've had a lot of fun. Believe it or not, in this conversation, yeah, it was a deep conversation. It was nuanced, but it's kitchen table talk. So I have enjoyed expressing my perspectives to you. I'm gonna go and finish my breakfast. I have some courses to complete. I have to go also and do some other things. If I knew how to vlog, and if I felt like I was more interesting as a vlogger, maybe I would vlog, but I don't really know. And I don't really want to be an influencer in that kind of way. I think that gets a bit icky sticky. I rather just sit and talk with you guys about my perspectives, talk about music, talk about life, and be out of here. So now I'm out of here. Bye.